You may have seen that when we announced it, there should be one more body here. Professor Rick Smith from the University of Nebraska, Department of Physical Education, who was also a Shotokan instructor, was coming down, but got ill this morning and told us they couldn't make it. So we had one fewer person in the panel tonight. But we've all come here today to allow Yamazaki Kiyoshi Sensei to have a chance to speak to us about karate. We're very fortunate this year that the second time in this academic year that Yamazaki Sensei has been willing to come, mainly through the hard work of Howard High and his Yogukai organization here. And we thought, rather than only exposing those people in his specific martial arts club to him on Saturday in the dojo, we want to try to get him to come and speak to a larger group on campus. So we're very pleased that Yamazaki Sensei is joining us today. He's been teaching karate for over 30 years worldwide, and although for most of the time he's been based in Los Angeles as the chief instructor for Karate Do Yogukai, they have dojo all over the world at this particular point, and so he travels widely amongst the schools for this organization. Also living in Los Angeles has put him in contact with many people in the entertainment field and has done many things with martial arts films and choreographing certain sequences and in teaching a number of stars karate. So we're very fortunate to welcome Yamazaki Sensei here today. We'll talk to us a little bit about philosophy of Karate Do, Japanese art as applied in the U.S. We have also with us Professor Teramoto from art history, Professor Tsubaki from theater and East Asian languages and cultures, and myself from the history department to hopefully ask you a few questions and stimulate some discussion after.
Thank you very much for attending today. My English is very bad, but Naga Sensei support me later. So first of all, I like to say karate, but more wider is looking for Budo. I'm special karate, but I was young, practice Aikido. Judo is more high school in the PE class. I do judo, and kendo. I was a child. It used to be Japan. Everybody kendo was a child. My father beat me every day before go school. So couple times, my feeling is this is my real father. I'm thinking about sometimes because he beat me even before school. And my brother too, in real kendo. And no, that time, not say kendo, kenjutsu, no tournament, just. So, and then I grew up, and then we moved to Tokyo, was 16 years old, and then start karate. And why I started karate? I used to be a track runner. I was record 1,500, 5,000, but I need something more young power. And then I went to some judo class, big people throwing to very small people. And kendo, beat every day, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, okay. And then I do karate. And the karate is, used to be, karate is big, small, doesn't matter. Then my instructor, Sensei Konishi, is very small man, very famous. You can see now the martial art history is many times Sensei Konishi. That time, I don't listen to Sensei Konishi. I like more how fast hit the opponent, how beat the opponent. First think about it. 10 years old to was university. And then I went to university, and then karate club is Shoto Kai. Shoto Kai is never fight the tournament, no sports. Still in Japan, Shoto Kai is there is 3 universities: Nanzan University, Osaka area, Tokyo Senshu University, and Gakushon University, Chuo University. Used to be Waseda. So many universities, and the young people changed to real more sports. But today, need to educate sports educate. I believe today. Because just say Budo, not today educate. More physical education, philosophy is more, sports is better. But I don't want to forget original Budo way. So I'm teaching to any different country. Or if you go to some country, is different culture, different education, different to people. So I can say 100% Japanese way. If I come America, I'm complete switch idea. But this idea, main inside is not switch. Teaching system somehow switch. But target, main basic is not switch. Because I was 1969, 1969 comes to America. I used to more try to Japanese way, 100% Japanese way. And then I find it. American educate little different to America, to Japan. And then I say, okay, new student don't need to cross clean dojo. I come to advanced for clean dojo. So mean new student watch to advance for clean. So new student automatic support. And then automatically comes philosophy comes out. First time I tried the new student, you guys clean dojo. Sensei, I pay you. Why I'm clean dojo? I say, what? That time I'm shocked. And then I say, wait a minute, this is a different concept. I find it. And then, okay, Sensei, my Sensei Konishi said, very important 3 major points. Say, if you want to be strong future, must be spirit. Important spirit. Kokoro, ne? Kokoro. And technique. Number 2, technique. And then body. So 3 major. And then another master is the Ueshiba Sensei is finder Aikido. You see, which we have a Sensei Aikido here, and then Chodokai Karate Sensei here. So, Mr. Ueshiba Sensei said, you have to standing to mirror universe. I don't understand. If you practice to martial art, I don't say Aikido, Judo, Kendo, karate. If you martial art, you have to standing to universe, mirror. So harmony to universe. I was 25, 26. I'm not thinking to why. I wanna hit fools people. I wanna completely make you finish the people. Think about. But I'm so lucky. I went to outside country teaching that I discussed today. So I find it. Also I'm studying. Okay? So means like a 3 ring. Okay, they say 1. This is the spirit kokoro. One time, karada ne, kanji da kanji. Time, karada. And then waza. Okay. So, and then Mr. Wish will say you have to standing to harmony. So this is I explain later. So, what to do first? not kokoro, not waza. You do first time basic karate. What to do? Body, first time body. Makes you strong body. If you make a strong body, punching, kicking, 1,000 times, 2,000 times, and then, so if you do, discipline comes up, and then, of course, technique comes up. If you just technique, you go a long way. So, instructor teach philosophy, how doing, spirit teaching. So, kokoro comes up. So, this is 1, 2, 3, very important. But you can do one day. So, I find that to research 20 years and go different country and discuss with the different doctor. So, for example, when you start karate today, nothing to sport, not karate, martial art, I say. Okay? 1, 2, 3 months. 3 months like this. You know, start today, so exciting. But tomorrow, too much training for her muscle and her leg, so you don't want to go training. But you have to go. So means I name Yamazaki. Yamazaki here, another Yamazaki say, don't need to go. You go play golf, stay drinking coffee, something, watch TV. Another Yamazaki say, go, not go, go. And then if you go, you win. See, somebody coming, hold your leg, but I have to go. Training. Okay? So back and forth, maybe 3 months. After 3 months, so comes up to 4 months to maybe 7 months, between 8 months. So body comes up. Next, technique comes up. Next, to spirit comes up. Spirit not comes first. Body comes first. Technique comes first. Next, spirit. If you too much think in spirit, just talking, no application. So, this is person karate. Maybe 30%. Okay? So, because if you understand maybe punch kicking faster, so maybe try to more next. Try to something. For example, today one technique, very good. You want to go next technique. So a lot of technique helps you. So that technique instructor said that explain to more philosophy and the spirit. So spirit comes like this. And then 8 months to 12 months. This is important, this part. 6, 7 months, this is very important. Because sometimes school, sometimes family, sometimes girlfriend, sometimes you buy car, lose to finance. A lot of situation comes out this part. But if you pass this 8 months, 1 year, means body is coming good, and of course technique coming good, of course spirit coming good. This three comes almost 100%. So means you make into body is martial art body, spirit is from martial art, technique martial art, even aikido, judo, taekwondo, and this are the same. Okay? But this is important. After 1 year, more important comes up. So means this 3 comes here. Look like after 1 year you go master. Yeah, many people master after this because the instructor not give knowledgeable, instructor not give philosophy. Everybody 1 year graduate. That's true today. America. You go Middle East, nobody is instructor. They like a fighting, need fighting practice. I was a big problem in Israel right now. West Bank are karate, many people practice. Israel, many people. Israel government said, don't go to West Bank. If you go West Bank, we not give you permit. I say, yes, because otherwise, passport not give us, I can't go Israel. The Israel people say, you teaching guerrilla, karate. So West Bank people say, Sensei, that's property, our property. That's not Israel, that's Palestinian. I asked them passport. They don't have passport, Israel passport. Egypt or Jordan, different countries. But they talk about from Bible. We say, judo, sports, no politics. I see good for example. So good for example means bad for example. I see that. Even Olympic politics. Olympic. But this is a take time. The innovative side. But 1 year later, okay, now important 1 year later. So you almost different each people, different. Some people 2 years come to this, some people 1 year come to this. But young people is comes 1 year comes to us. No cross each other. This should be harmony. Okay? So now spirit comes up, body comes up, technique comes up. So what to do next? You have to use this idea to if you work into company, if you work into organization, next ring here. Spread everything throughout. Idea is if I do the karate philosophy, use to some business, use to some ideas. Good. I'm teaching right now, slow educate people and support. This kind of philosophy is seen from karate. Then I'm making some person making go to school program, go to public. So what? To me, karate. So after 1 year, we have to start to different kind art. Two weapons, different weapons comes up. Okay. Also, I'm teaching different weapons. Of course, I'm teaching to Iaido, Japanese swordsmanship. So these people, what to do? After this, they going to Japanese calligraphy. Shodo calligraphy is very similar to concentration and very similar to harmony. So they are how good for Iaido. So means material from Shodo. To me, how go more develop karate is more different kind of weapon. So if you grab some stick or some weapon, you have to know how to take care of the weapon, and then how against the weapon, protect the weapon. America use gun. So if you know how to take care of gun, they use easy to use shoot. If people know how the gun is dangerous, they don't want to shoot into these people. So a couple of years ago, I teach in the police department. One of the police goes to house and then mistake to shoot child. Child use gun toy, point to the police. Policeman bang, you shoot. If policeman quickly adjustment, maybe not shooting because he see little kid gun, he can tell right away this is a real gun, toy gun. If you practice martial arts, but he say, oh, I use gun, don't need karate, don't need martial arts. That's why they shooting ability is a little scared. That's why shoot. That's why if you see to something, quickly decision comes out too if you practice. This is a real of story. One of master, everybody knows Shotokan system. Sensei Funakoshi comes to our dojo all the time. And then one of the instructors or parents asked Sensei, Sensei is a master karate, so maybe you're not too scared other people. Sensei said, no, I'm scared. Also, other instructor said, Sensei, you I think very drop and protect. Sensei said, no. I'm scared, I'm how protect, I don't know idea. He said, but he said, I'm quickly decision faster than other people. Sensei said, just one more. I don't know so many years. Now I can tell, I understand. Right? You not to fight. Of course now, me, the same Christian asked me if I go some country, oh Sensei, you are good karate, maybe you not scared knife. I said, no, I'm scared knife. Right? And then, another word Sensei Konishi said, okay, if real training karate, you have to support opponent. You have to develop opponent. You give knowledge to the opponent. I say, why? This is my enemy. This is my opponent. Why I give it to opponents, nice opponent? I was 20, 23, 24. Now I understand. Okay? Now I understand because if not this opponent, if support to opponent understand your idea, opponent support back you. This is true. This is true. That's why I use my idea, my organization. I'm not a support. People support. I'm not a cut-off. Cut-off fighting very easy, but TKR is very hard. That's true, I think. Okay, so that's why 1 year later, like this, and then more 4 years, 5 years, look like when you cut tree, the age, it's called mainly tree, yes. Small trees, not many, but small tree, is a typhoon coming, very easy. Some little boy can take off very easy. But big tree, or even typhoon coming, even earthquake coming, somebody tries to cut, very difficult. That means every day they are grow up little by little. You can see tree how grow up fast, but after a couple years, see, boom, grow up already. Martial art training is the same. You can jump master, you can jump black belt. So, another for example, I give all time a little kids to child. When you make it the house, how you do first? Foundation, big, strong, underground foundation. This is the concrete. Okay, concrete is some concrete, very real cheap concrete. Material is no good. So material is no good. So big foundation, then house. This is the basics. The house comes up, independent you. Some people different color paint. Some people picture, different picture you write, independent. So means after 2 years, 3 years, you have to have you karate do, not to instructor, not to organization. But don't forget, in organization instructor supported before. That's why you come to strong tree, strong house. So means not against instructor, not against organization. More relationship to other organization, other martial arts. And then you have to develop yourself. Okay? Then this is I understand. Now we have to discuss this. After this, you have to remember, Sensei Ueshiba find the Aikido. Sensei say, we want to do standing, point mirror to universe. So, universe is moon, sun, earth. Same thing. Moon, sun, earth. You are mirror. This, even one moon's gone, now we are problem. Sun gone, we are problem. See, 1, 2, 3 is harmony. So you are mirror. You can do today, tomorrow. Don't confuse it. So you have to stand in the mirror. So means harmony. You have to harmony to opponents. You have to harmony to family, job, relationship with different countries. So then I find the true Sensei said this. So universe, mirror universe. Okay? So in other words, say this, I think an instructor teaching to child, I think not necessary child, school too. For example, I say child, we teaching child here, parents here, instructor here. These three is harmony. If you don't like instructor, how develop yourself? That's true. Also, instructor don't like you, I think you fail. Oh, my sensei don't like me. Yeah, that's true. How develop? Okay? And if not to know parents, of course the child talk parents further. If you don't like each other's parents, how happy to teach child? That's true. So exactly this one. Child, for example, another child, okay? Child here, parents here, instructor here. 1 to 3. First month, 3 months, no communicate. But 4 months, 7 months, child develop, good manner comes up, good lesson parents, good technique comes up. Parents so proud. Then parents thinking, oh, my child instructor very good. So communicate comes up. So if 3 communicate comes up, child's karate is knowledgeable karate here. And then 8 months or 1 year later, child, instructor, parents. This 3 group harmony. See, this 3 is very important. 3 viable points. Your life is food, clothes, house. これ三原色がありましたね。三原色。This 3. That's 3. Many comes up. Karate do develop 3 points. Yes. Martial arts. And working company too. You, company, and merchandise. 3. Same thing. So today not to have so many hour time. So today I say 3 Bible points. Kokoro, body, technique, called Shin, Gi, Tai. This is important. This is the philosophy is other parts too. You can use this idea to other parts. So means also standing to future. I don't know either. Still I have to research. But to almost you don't understand yet. You stand up universe. So future. Today I wanna say this part, and then after 1 year go up. So next time I wanna say more different idea, more process. So next maybe another system. Any question?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to start with asking a question, or so? How about we start with you guys?
No.
With your chance.
I've got a lot of seminar all the time, different countries. If no question, you understand 100%. Or no understand 100%. That's right. That's true. You know, I wish any question ask me. I'm so happy. No question, I'm not happy. Yes.
I've been out of the martial arts for about 12 years. Getting back, trying to get the harmony and technique, even though I am somewhat senior, and my body has changed as well. How many instructors actually teach within this time frame? Because we don't react I don't react as quickly as I used to. I remember a lot, but I can't perform it the way I want to. So how do we go about creating this TV?
Okay. That's a good question. Okay. For example, I say he experienced 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So that time training is so more body conditioning, physical conditioning. Okay. So now he can do physical conditioning, but how about the educate? Means kokoro, spirit, and knowledgeable support you. So means today, maybe for example, you start today, young people, maybe physical good people, coordinated start today, start same time, but 1 year later, I think almost same. Maybe you are better than the young people because young people start age quick age. You 15 years ago you experienced already. So means when you start back, you have ready to feeling. You don't want to give up. So means you have strong feeling, strong personal opinion already. So means you never give up. Take time. Time to come. Sometimes lot knowledgeable support you, feeling, spirit support you. So means even physical little low, no, maybe different way, but knowledgeable, spirit, lot of support. So means I don't know, 1 year later, more equal to young people. That's true. Even young people, you know, another for example, I'm going every year South America. You know, South American people, you see boxing good, dancing good, Korean so good. You know, so very, very activity is good. But some people problem. So young people all automatically activity automatically called as good people. Not necessarily too much instructor. We are very easy this kind of thing. I say I show one time, baba, do it, very catchy. They are easy go away. You know, that's true. But some real problem, coldness problem, the parents come to me. So, and I give to a couple times family, child, me, said that. Yeah, I'm making a story. Okay? So everybody go mountain here. Anyway, my name is Yamazaki. Yamaha Kawasaki makes Yamazaki. So high mountain called Mount High is Yamazaki. That's a good name. I'm proud of my name. So anyway, young people go to climb mountain. Okay? Everybody go. And then, okay, I'm waiting in the top. So you guys come anytime, come to see me. So I'm waiting to top of the mountain. Some physical good people, fast. Running good, physical good, maybe 2 hours. Bam, come. Oh, you have a 2 hour, 10 minutes, you have a record. Record. Another people is no physical good. Couple hours walk, sit down, watch view, beautiful view, fresh air. Well, and then again work. Stay down. You see flower. Animal come. What kind of animal? What kind of flower? What color? Why color comes up? He's thinking. And then next one walk. Tired. Water. Drinking water. Pure water. Comfortable. This water is what comes from. It's beautiful. And they come to work. 4 hours later, he comes. Okay? So, instructor, you're late. Oh, Sensei, I don't have a physical conditioning now and stop a couple times. Oh, this is something. Okay. Oh, I work a couple hours later, I saw flower, I saw some animal, I don't know what kind of animal, but I like to see dictionary what kind of flower, what kind of animal. Instructor asked you, how about you? Sensei, I'm fast. I don't say anything about it. Where's flower? Where's animal? How about you see something? Yeah, I saw that's written water, clear water, I'm drinking or comfortable. Sensei asked me, did you see this? No, I don't see any water because I have running. I'm running. I don't see anything. Sensei, how's the view? No, I don't see anything view. So means fast people sometimes lose knowledgeable, lose education. You know, for example, karate, just technique. Think about trophy, competition, fast. So means can see other organization, can see other art, can see other philosophy. Just how kick. This means after retire, they try to teach, no education, no philosophy, how teach. That means best way take time. And then in the technical wise, if you take in my class, I can support how. Okay. Now, so many published karate book, karate kata. They are just kata or fighting, both. Traditional instructor say, if you do first kata, is use kumite and self-defense. Today, nobody, not many, because too busy, too tournament. That's why I want to explain more how used to be this, why used to be this. Even one punch, long time ago, today is different. Okay? Also, we have to use Ishudo kata means form. Few movement, why movement this? Straight application. Next is more deep application. And then come to henka. What to say? How to go? Oyo henka. How explain English?
Well, you mentioned about the river water flowing in.
Yeah, no,
English.
English. Oyo henka, you know, but some people don't know how it translates English. Oyo to henka って言った場合にはどのようにイングリッシュ訳しますかね。
Application?
Change application. Yeah, that means, okay, if you go change application, basically kata movement this, but application and the application how going means important. If you study this, you can use kata technique to self-defense and more different ideas. Because individual, different body, different thinking, different speed. So means individual different idea, even throwing technique. Some people go inside, some people go outside. Which one you like? And then henka, oyo comes different. That's why I think that you have knowledge already. That means henka, oyo comes up, you have more. Also, age, you say 50 something. No, If you do real practice martial arts, I don't say just karate, okay? Each come to okay? This is 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, 40. I say over 40, 50. Okay? So, this area, physical, muscles young, spirit young, fast body, fast. But you do to this area, strong basics, strong body basics, and then 30, 40, 50. 50 is everybody conditioning to go somehow down. Okay? What to do? Physical go down, young people fast. But if you have basically before 40 years old experience and a strong fitness practice like a three ring is strong, after 50, mentally, key, lot of support you. So means somebody fast people come, mentally, key, support, protect you. That's why, that's true. I was young, I like attacking first. But today, I want somebody come, before come, I want to stop. This means more key, knowledgeable, spirit support me. That's why a future, I think you, lot of key support. You understand key, right? Key, yes. That's why say, don't worry about age. Times come, yes. And then one, again say, one karate master said to me, also not say to me, he talked to discuss everybody. Sensei Funakoshi, Sensei said, you past 4 years old, you have to responsibility you face. I don't understand. I was 1920. Look everybody. The old master, young time, so mean face. You know, 20 years old, the Sensei, doctor here, you see Sensei training karate time, young time, he told me, mean face, short hair, mean face. Sensei smiling, but inside different. See, this means key, more harmony, warm. See, exactly, I was, demonstration to one book, and models one book making a publishing a karate book. I hate my picture. Somebody show me, keep away. I don't want to see it because look like me, ego. I can tell my face. That means over 40 means good for income is average, more flat income. Also, you have family and the relationship to other people is good. That's why faith must be good. You see, gangster faith. You grab a gangster. See? Now I understand, Mr. Funakoshi. You have responsibility over 40 years old in faith. You have to protect, you have to be honest. Faith is honest. That's true.
You said when you were facing an opponent, maybe with a knife or whatever the situation may be, you need to support your opponent. I don't understand.
Okay, good. I don't understand it, okay. Okay. For example, somebody tried against the knife. I was experienced a couple times in Los Angeles. Sensei said, Los Angeles. I'm from Anaheim, Orange County. So I was experienced, okay? If you practice karate, you can tell, oh, this person have gun or knife, or something weapon. Also, if you practice martial arts, you can tell this person, oh, try to attack me or not attack me. Easy. That's why I said last time, quickly person decision. Quickly. So, and then before talk, explain, talk, calm down, how. Okay. One for example. This is, I think anybody has knowledge for. That's why I tell the truth. I was young, fighting, fight. Then after that, I'm open hand, fighting. Stop natural, talking, stop. So, here, how feeling? Here is very meaning, right? Open hand, here is, I give to my key. My spirit is making warm to you. That kind of philosophy. Also, if the dangerous person front, I'm not close. I'm talking to any position of enemy. So means you have to, if he tries to attack me, you have to understand. If they explain, so means he tries by his back. And then listen to me more. Did you get the real one? Still don't understand.
Last part back.
Okay. Somebody tried to hiding a knife, but keeping distance, keeping explain, talking, is truth feeling after talking, feeling that almost stop. If I can't stop, I need more training. Yeah, more strong key, strong spirit. So he decision to we're not attack before start. That's why, okay, for example, little young kid comes try to attack you, you look, say, oh, you decision quickly, oh, this is not my partner. This kind is not my partner. So, get out. Not to pay attention. If you have a knowledgeable, if you have a confidence, same thing. Somebody use a knife, you have strong speed, strong knowledgeable, even look nice, you not notice. Calm down, still talk. That's why my experience, right? That's why they say my instructor told me so many times, I don't understand. So my instructor is live in a house is close to ocean. So Japan sometimes ocean area is really bad. One night somebody tried to attack me. It's like a construction worker. He tried to attack the condition. They say condition drop the boat in, hit, but not 100%. Control. Hit his opponent forward to front. He go back, he's small person. So he go back, grab, support him. So means if he not much training, if he no confidence, maybe completely hit harder, knock down him. Also maybe after that, maybe kicking, maybe choking something. But he control and the opponent fall down behind his goal, grab, hold back, with so much confidence I think. And then, hey, you're right. Support him. And then he started karate. Right? Then he's a good instructor. I don't want to say who is who, but he's a good instructor to help him. Yeah, that's a true story. But usually I don't understand. Now today I understand. Yeah, any other question?
I'd like to just comment on the other folks about regarding what you talked about. I was asking,
Okay.
John, you want to say anything, or? I can always talk. I'm disappointed in Sean. Sean, I would have thought that all your years of studying Japan, Sean was born in Japan. I would have thought all your years you would have seen enough television programs or whatever making that same point. That you decided, what is
TV programs are a little more aggressive, less support.
Oh, the TV action?
Yeah.
Well, certainly you must have watched even over here, Kung Fu. How many times did David Carradine approach someone openly, for example, and the person, just by looking at him, decided not to be aggressive? That whole hokey business is based on this idea that the ultimate way to succeed is avoiding the confrontation. And that goes all the way back to as far as we can in any martial art. The very character Wu for Budo really means Yoku Osaeru, is the idea of it's a spear plus the character to stop or to suppress. So from the very beginning of the whole idea of Budo is the idea of avoiding or putting down some kind of violence. That kind of underlying sense from ancient Chinese and Japanese times has sort of always been there. Even the character himself, Wu, has that sense. This is a modern articulation.
Sort of like, I think I talked about that just a couple of years ago. I was invited to talk at the Lions Club in Tokyo, and I was talking about experience living in Japan, and I just came back recently. And at the end, this big husky man comes up to me. The person introduced me talked about my being black belt in Kiyoshi. He said, "Well, have you had a chance to fight with your Kiyoshi?" I said, "Fortunately, I never had that experience." And he said, "Oh, it's too bad." It's that kind of whole sort of concept of Japanese martial art class against versus sports type. I mean, we do it so that we don't have to use it. Right? But here, if you learn it, you have to go ahead and use it, no matter what. That will get you into trouble rather than getting away from it. And I don't know if you've been physically active these years. You have been?
Yeah.
Well, then I guess we don't have to worry about you getting back to karate. But
I think we do. Anybody that size, we start when we do.
That's what I'm worried about. I wish I had what I had when I was younger.
the one thing about it, your body may slow down, but your perception, your key or your observation, power observation doesn't slow down. So you can see when and where attack is coming. So you can avoid that. Earlier when we have youth, we try to parry it too much. But it's not the only way. You can step back too. And that we can do when we see attack coming. So as you age, there's a different way of practicing exercise.
Blow out makes sense and blow out. And there are times, several times, I started, it's been over 30 years, when I think I've got something, I think I finally got it, and only to find out to one's chagrin that you didn't have it, but then also to then be happy you didn't have it, because it's deeper, than you thought. And it's just, I mean, Yamazaki Sensei was talking about part of the spirit is the spirit to face oneself. I was taught that Bujutsu, the fighting techniques, are to knock down or destroy opponents. But Budo begins with cutting oneself, onori o kiru. And that's that same idea of looking inwards. And how you face an opponent, how you face a difficult situation, how you face your life, I think is all derived from this. And the practice itself, physical practice, supports the ability to do this. And you find out when you kind of away from practice, when you're not really practicing hard, seem to attract trouble. And when you have a good mentality, you have no problems. It's a strange kind of thing. It's being able to see yourself when it's easy to fool yourself. I don't know. It might be a little bit off the track, but that's my understanding.
I have a question that kind of goes along with this whole topic. I think everyone that is in this room right now has more than just a passing interest in the martial arts. Everyone here, I assume, is doing it just as a hobby. Otherwise, I think there'd be a lot more people in here. Everyone would like this to become more of a part of their lives. I think just about everyone here is affiliated with the college in some way. Is there a possibility, what is being done, or what can we do to make the martial arts as a whole more accepted by the educational institution? After we leave this symposium, all of us are going to go back and train at our clubs, twice a week, and most of us will never get together and train. Most of us aren't receiving maybe much credit for classes. There are no karate or martial arts scholarships. If you want to do something, if you want to help martial arts as a whole build in the United States especially, would be to get it into the educational system. There are a few colleges I know of that have martial arts scholarships, but not very many, and it's not taken very seriously. It's not taken anywhere near as seriously as maybe a basketball scholarship or football or baseball or what have you. Maybe I'd like to hear from Dr. Hurst or Teramoto or Tsubaki what you think could be done to incorporate this in the college system today.
Well, first I'd like to think that it's not like it's totally absent. I know for a fact that Professor Tsubaki has taught several times a course on Japanese acting and martial arts movement within Japanese acting styles. We certainly have, occasionally I teach a course on history of samurai, which always has a section that deals with the martial arts. It's not like we're totally absent from the curriculum. It's not exactly like we dominate it, I must admit. There are places and times in Oriental philosophy classes where it's mixed in. It's true we have no specific courses devoted to something like that. That could happen. We have people here on campus that are interested enough and knowledgeable enough, with enough student demand out there. If we knew that we felt that there was that much demand, it's possible that a course could be organized, or a series of courses. This is not at all impossible. Students have tremendous power in the individual departments and ways to influence faculty, just to get them to bring it up and think about it, as you're doing here. So I think that part of it is less difficult. And the second part, when you're talking about some kind of scholarship, there you're talking about, you're kind of between, because when you sort of compare it with basketball or football, then the only kind of martial arts you can say is that we have to have a strong judo team that would go internationally and compete, and those judo players would get a scholarship. And that's slightly different than money to support people who want to study martial arts. That gets into something that really, only the Endowment Association and the Athletic Corporation. There may be somebody in the physical education department can help. That's a little tougher. The first part of it, I don't think is that big a problem. You feel a certain stimulation. We can find ways of curricular ways of helping. Teach a course that's good. Can I sign you up to teach a course on philosophy?
Sure. I was interested in what John said about thought students had it and then finding students have it. I'm wondering what it is. And interested too in the mental aspect of it. People who do martial arts do then meditation a lot. And it's the ability to know the opponent, sense the opponent. How far does that carry over? For example, in other types of social interactions, does it build a certain sense so that one has more ability to read into another person than average people? Or is it only in situations of physical confrontation? In other words, can you better read people, their intentions, their attitudes?
That sounds like the syllabus for the course that he would like to have try. John, can you do that in 25 words?
I think one thing I know about what I'm doing is I don't know yet what to do, but I know what not to do, because you keep making all the mistakes, and then you learn not to make those mistakes anymore. And when you see other people making those mistakes, you can see yourself making that same mistake. And so you're not reading their mind, but because I think you honestly saw your mistakes, you can see it elsewhere. And I think it's not reading anybody's mind, you just recognize things. It's like looking honestly in the mirror, you know, instead of fooling yourself and saying, gosh, I just still look like when I was 20, you know. And you really see what's there. And it's the same with other people, right? The experience is, it's not reading anybody's mind or reading into people. I think it's more, you could use a lot of imagery for that, you know, symbolism. It's like you become a mirror and you just reflect back and things like that. And the it is when you can talk symbolically, you know, and you're like the apocryphal stage on the mountaintop or something like that, and you have the answers that come together for you. And that's the it that I'm talking about. Everything seems to come together, and you find out it's not.
Well, we answer the rest of your question. We got like 3 or 4 other parts. The Zen part is it's very rare to find people who actually in Japan who are martial artists who do Zen meditation. There's been a lot of overflowing. There's a lot of borrowing of Zen vocabulary and trying to describe mental states of dealing with opponents that is used in text. But there are very few, for example, schools of swordsmanship or anything like that that have some explicit connection with. Nonetheless, the same kind of idea of arriving in a detached mental state where one does focus has been utilized very strongly by most martial arts schools in traditional times to articulate that philosophy. So the actual connection people who do one and do the other is fairly minimal, but there are perfect schools of swordsmanship which are related to Zen institutions. It's a bit of a small.
I was thinking that space itself and perhaps the others would have
and then borrow that metaphor to use it to describe the mental state that one should do it. But one normally arrives at that somewhat similar mental state through physical activity. As Sensei was saying, you can arrive at a somewhat similar stage, but the practice involved is different. Other than a quiet zazen that when you face out danger and other kinds of things, using the body. He was using the word today, karada de obueru, to understand with the body. This you find reams of things in Tokugawa text from every different martial arts school, emphasizing that tai kan, to understand with the senses, tai toku, to obtain and understand bodily understanding. Almost all of them have that sense of understanding through the body rather than an intellectual process. So it's more physical, but it's arriving at a similar kind of state. Yeah. Well, but it's a much quieter. The physical motion is compressed there.
I want to add to answer to your question, the question you raised, and then respond to your question a little bit too. Interestingly, our master in Tokyo sort of began this, our type of Kiyoshi went through a lot of Zen meditation, and he found out the way Zen people sit in Zen meditation is very physically weak. So he came up with the Seiza posture, sitting in the usual way rather than cross-legged. And then we go through same meditative state and particularly breathing, very deep breathing to stimulate our organ, whole body and breathing, including breathing through the skin. And so a lot of these things are in there, but he emphasized 4 things for us to do. One of the 4, not necessarily 4 things together or 2 things together. And one is relax completely and extend ki and concentrate on one point, which is tangent here below the navel. And then develop a sense of weight on the side. And if you do any of these, one of the fours, then you're much better control of yourself. And when you are in better control of yourself, then you can react, or you can see your person you're confronting or you're talking to, so that you can be quicker and more precise in understanding the situation or what your partner is trying to tell you. So it's sort of like making yourself more receptive, and that takes training. Because as Yamazaki said, when you're young, you're full of ego, and instead of receiving something, you always want to show off what you can do. But mentally, despite all the physical ability you have, make your sort of mind empty, and then there's some sense of there, and then be receptive. And to do that, you have to be relaxed. And so all that kind of sort of physical, and then what we are doing in our case is we go through this physically, so that we can also have mental analysis at the same time. So our end is not necessarily physical ability, more mental alertness, well-being. Getting back to your question, I think what Japan side is doing is more reaction to what worldwide, how Japanese martial arts are taken in. And for example, like Japan Foundation does not give out fellowship to those who wants to go to Japan and study martial arts. And so in that sense, martial artists or idea of studying martial arts or not academically accepted. It's more like viewed as habit, or some skill you want to develop, and in that sense, and then also as a sports, there is no money. If there is no money, how can they pay you? Basketball, there's money, tons of money. That's why they can pay you. And so, for the time being, I guess probably there's hardly any way for us to make it some kind of art that will pay you. And we just have to keep doing it, and then eventually, hopefully, the people will understand what is true martial art, and not just go out and beat up people or do flashy things in the movie. And our end is completely misunderstood by a lot of people who misuse martial arts. That's why we are sort of suffering from not being accepted properly. And in order to correct that, I think there's too much for us to do right now, all over, including the situation in Palestine and Israel.
If I could defend a little bit the Japan Foundation, while Andrew is technically correct, I did receive money for them to study about when I was doing a study of martial arts philosophy or history and happened to be practical, that they'll accept it at that level. So maybe that's the beginning. So one more final thing you asked, one that we didn't, was if you do one kind of thing, does it lead over to an understanding of another? That's a matter of a good deal of argumentation among traditional people. But since all of them, whether we're talking about Aikido or whether we're talking about Yama ceremony, Shudo training is the word we use in all, just as you do in any kind of, long before then, any kind of religious training. So some people recognize a similar kind of effort that goes across various different cultural and artistic forms, and therefore can be applicable. When Yamazaki Musashi argues that in no show, that having learned one particular thing, he was then able to carry it over across a variety of disciplines. That you have an equal number of people arguing that if you're going to do a particular thing, you should do that and only that single-mindedly. And not, let's say, you're just going to do Aikido, you shouldn't go off and do karate, tea ceremony, 5 or 6 other things. But once, the implicit understanding is that once you reach a certain level, that kit that John is describing, and all the receptivity that exercise of would send one in good stead going through that.
Following up on Professor Andrews, it struck me that I'm amazed at the panel after returning after about 35 years of school. And the fact that there's so many martial arts programs, it's looked upon more as a gym sport, activity. And with your expertise, I think it's necessary to bring it into the academic spectrum, because this is where the real philosophy is going to trickle down, and then the gym activity only support, and that's what's necessary. And the three of you, and I don't know how many more, and I don't know how many more martial arts practitioners are on campus, but I think it would be it's necessary that this philosophy come together and make it the academic area which it's supposed to be, and then trickle down to the gym instead of vice versa. As long as it's in the gym medium, it won't be taken that seriously. Except it's cute, right? We have nice, colorful beads and bells, but it's the philosophy that's the most important that has to be grasped. And I'm hoping that this will start maybe in another year from now, that it will be part of the curriculum as an academic subject.
I think
bring that about.
I think it's very dangerous to start with the philosophy and to go down. And the reason is the forging, the experience, and the kind of things that you know, through practicing, through training. You kind of short circuit the situation. And although I agree with you, the danger from just the sport and all that, we have to admit that's where things begin anyway. And it's only as people are drawn upwards from that, which means quality instruction or people of quality. Or that they come into contact with, I guess. And then that draws it up to the next stage. It's one of the problems. It's even Confucius said the problem with the world is too many people want to be treated as sensei, or want to act as sensei. In other words, not that they want to become senseis, but they want to be sensei. And that's, when Confucius was talking.
I have a question. On the way that, for instance, he was talking about how it's conceived as, perceived as a gym sport. People say it's in a 1-hour credit course, playing around and everything. And would it be possible, perhaps, this is a suggestion, maybe a 3-hour course, a larger course where you practice every day, and like on this practicing class, and we do go through some of the mental aspects, just practice. So there is a note to it. More of a larger.
That'd be an excellent. This would be an excellent point to turn the discussion back to Yamazaki, since I guess he's talking about instructing.
You, for example, teach at do you teach a course that is, as he's describing, just a gym course, or is your course there involved more?
Okay. Yes. First of all, like a gym, but after 3 months, 4 months, and so times come. Sometimes try to right away to 100% philosophy, so tired. So first of all, make sure understand easily. Then go. Times come more deep. See, like I was training university time. First new club start, 30, 40 people. Second day, 20 people. Third day, 10 people. Because instructor, senpai, beat first day, bah, 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 bah. Drop off people, I don't like this drop off. But before know and then beat student, means drop off some student, maybe someday good. So they drop off. That means lose to future looking. But Japanese martial arts training is used in different way. Today is more different. Today, I'm right, I'm teaching that way. I'm moved to different countries, especially from America. And then I'm looking for American education. And then I'm switch idea teaching system. Today, everybody copy me. Even Japan University Karate Club, University Kendo Club, and Aikido Club. First time, everybody joined. 1 week later, everybody gone because it's struggling. Today not. Today, this is system. Okay? So, first time, outline. Second time, motive. Third time, motive. I do that. So means, first 1 week, very easy, very nice to teach. That's this time come, I want harder, more strong. So means after understand, if I teach harder, sometimes I give punish. They understand, so they not to quit, they not to drop off. That's why we do.
How often, how many minutes do you read someone?
Hour and a half day, so 3 times a week. And then, so school system is that's enough. So I explain to the student, when you taking my karate class, 1 week, 1 time minimum. If you're driving, come to main school, main dojo. So main dojo is, he said, gym, not gym, martial arts center. So people come, before change uniform, they're looking, feeling, is spirit comes out martial arts. So regulations different. And inside training hall is different. So people first time karate club, university or college, but people come to my dojo and then they change. More one training, more one practice. That's why I give a chance to come to dojo. That's why every 1 hour and a half, 2 hours every other day, first opening, first time introduce, maybe okay. But times come, you have to move. They also, if you like to any martial art, even karate, judo, aikido, you have to think yourself. Instructor give instruction at 1 hour. Okay? Another 2-3 hours, you have to think it. So means you will repeat. So means oil comes out. Oil totally.
In your application, it's actually here.
That's why many traditional martial art instructors, not like today, how you do this, why you do this, explain. Right? And instructor karate is I was training, Sensei comes one day. You have to do this, bang bang. He left. Everybody look. Yeah. So today to me, okay, if short time exam something, maybe okay. But you say everybody martial arts is all right. Everybody told you all right. If you say martial arts all right, I like to Sensei Konishi way. Sensei Konishi give me testing Shodan test 3 times front, 4 times I pass. He don't say why pass? Why no pass? We can ask you. And then 20 years later, I come to America and then I invite Sensei Konishi. And then 23 years later, Sensei said, do you know why I not give it Shodan 3 times? Sensei said, you too ego. That's what he teasing to me. If he give me Shodan that time, I'm not today here, maybe. So ego. I give to a testing, partner. So Sensei not testing me. Sensei testing other partner. Sensei say, Yamazaki, your partner him. Sensei not testing me. Sensei testing him. And knock out him. So that's not right. He say, why you do that way? I'm not looking to you. I'm looking for other people. So I'm not supposed to partner. If you partner, you want to use pass. No, I will knock out him, because if I knock out him, I will pass. So that's very bad. See, that's why I know now, this is no good, this is a good. So if I go seminar, like a physical training, I can tell, oh, this guy tried to attack me, this guy not listen to me, this guy hit my class. I can tell, because I've experienced. Okay? That's why first time outright, and then times come more deep. That's why that's why take all, you say, all life karate or all life aikido. Sometimes to me, don't give up. Don't give up. Do it. Yeah, almost people 2-3 times drop off. Oh, goodbye. They go something else. But you continue. Somehow develop yourself. That's to me.
Howard and Mr. Tsubaki, maybe I could ask this question going along with what Yamazaki Sensei was saying. Is there now much interchange between the, we have quite a number now, martial arts clubs that transcend your own little particular school? Is there any format or any place in which you need to exchange greater information about or cooperate in other sort of larger martial arts that have curriculum? You do anything together?
Nothing really organized. I made efforts to try to make an organization to help promote exchanges. I have at some instances brought in some instructors from other systems to expose the students on their aspects of the martial arts, and it has been successful. And eventually I might try to develop more of that to help people understand what the martial arts is all about. One thing I've noticed that going to many seminars, not only here but other places where there are different types of martial arts being presented, people go away with, well, this is very similar to the way I do things. A lot of similarities in martial arts. Help people believe that martial arts could be one thing, just different aspects, different methods of learning. At the most advanced levels, it looks pretty much the same.
Because I agree with Professor Teramoto that somehow it's difficult to start from the top down with the philosophy, but if you have that many people, if you multiply your club by 10 or 11 or however many you have now, we have a large number of practitioners with whom you could start, and if you were together, the possibility of organizing something that would move up, as he suggested, is quite right. I think if you tried to work amongst yourselves. We used to, when I was running those clubs a long time ago, we had we used to meet on Fridays, for example, in the gym, and a lot of people from the Kung Fu Club, from Kashima Shinryu Martial Science Club, and from Taekwondo, and there used to be a kind of semi-formal meeting, exchanging techniques and discussions, and I kind of felt that it was leading towards something like that. But that was useful.
Well, the way martial arts are set up, it's so difficult to, blend them together, except as an individual like Yamazaki Sensei has gone through pages of different martial arts. I did a little karate and settle down in Aikido. Partially because it's so difficult. I started late. I can't do 100 push-ups and 100 this and 100 that. So I said goodbye to karate. But so I don't know. I mean, doing something together, I don't know how much it would benefit each other. Although you get the impression suddenly, what you're saying, once you go to certain depth, a lot of things are the same, and entrance way is different, the goal is the same.
But even not, if they're the same, I think, for example, your course on theater and martial arts movement within theater, there are things in that course that could be useful to people practicing any martial arts, the basic movement kind of things. I think there would be a receptive audience if they were aware that there's something like that. It's a group of people that could, not necessarily, Aikido people are not supposed to get together and spar with Kung Fu people, but they could be the core of perhaps organization of a class that would involve maybe both dojo experience and classroom experience, bring the classroom experience into the dojo.
Well, in my case, we are meeting 5 hours
yeah,
a week,
so it's extra time.
but it's already so full, and I spent about there in 2 weeks, or maybe a little over 2 weeks on karate, a lot of times on tai chi and Aikido, and then I use them behind the theatrical pipe to pull everything together and have students choreograph it. But so far, I'm using myself as a teacher. When my sons are around, I use them to teach karate portion, but I haven't asked others to come. It's too little, so I haven't been getting them involved. But one thing I think is working out, particularly among Japan-related martial arts. We through club head, I think we have a good working relationship. So if one group needs special time, we may talk to other groups, and they will be willingly give that day for special workshop. You got 209, 207 for certain things, or we give up weekend. We do exchanges much freer, willingly. So that is one advantage. I don't know whether this is spilling over all the martial arts or not, but at least a lot of Japan-related martial arts seems to go better with that. But we have right now much more serious common problem with this. Athletics department and us.
Just when we first built that facility, that was a problem from day one. We've got a question for, we have Yamazaki Sensei. You can talk to the rest of us anytime, so if you've got a good question for Yamazaki Sensei.
Well, this is still on what Sean said back there about the classes, and I don't know if anybody can answer this, but I was wondering if there's any way, especially this university, set up a class, there's semester or something like that, and have, it seems like there's a lot more area to be researching stuff, a lot more classes that could be offered, and it looks like there's a lot of interest. It seems like none of them are, and you've had experience teaching in Santa Monica, so you would know more about that.
If you say PE class is more members because you have accreditation. But PE class is sometimes you have to first day, second day, all curriculum, and of course introduction. That's why if I do the program and another karate class is also. So if you are more interested, come karate class. So people are interested. 1 week, more than 3-4 times training. And besides, they can come to dojo. More training. That's why I wish more the department understand, I wish for start the program.
Well, I was also wondering, I haven't heard of this course, but Tsubaki Sensei's course. Seems like there's a lot of areas, I mean, just the philosophy-wise, anything. And I know you mentioned
That's why I
that
suggested
you taught
to
it-
Sean that if students approach departments,
I was wondering, well, I
there are
know
large
you're head
numbers
of
of people,
department.
then at least you put in the minds of the professors, gee, maybe I want to give that course more often, or maybe instead of giving a course on X, I want to give a course on Y. We don't have thousands of us around here to do that. But students control that kind of thing to a certain extent. Do it personally or getting large numbers of students to approach something. Yeah.
Yamazaki Sensei talked a little bit on it, but I was just wondering, I had an experience with I might say only one club down here, and I train in a dojo. My problem I found with training in the club is the university students treated the club and the teachers just like they do in class. Being a non-traditional student, I've been in the real world, and I find it amazing how young people treat the teachers, people that are supposed to be in authority in the university situation. Being in a dojo, it's not that my dojo is so strict, but we do have a certain amount of discipline, and it would be just unconscionable to be disrespectful in any way to Sensei. But in the club situation, they were treating the teachers just like they do in regular class at the university. I found it kind of hard. The environment wasn't conducive for my learning. I was wondering am I just being a stick in the mud, or I'm being kind of rigid, or do you find that there's a little bit easier? Is it easier to teach the people in a university setting or in your dojo?
I think basically the same, but to me, dojo is a little difficult because dojo is so many different age, so many different people, but club is almost same age, same physical condition people. That's why if you have karate club university, it's supposed to be more easy to teach. But club is not every day. That's one point. How many one time a week?
I think maybe that twice a week.
Oh, twice a week. Yeah, twice is not bad. 1 hour or what? So?
I think it was hour 45.
That's not bad. Yeah, but club is student transfer. Really, is going one semester, second semester go on. That's club for me. But 4 years university, sometimes they stay 4 years, and they decide they come to dojo. This is good for to teaching good time. So to me, also I teach in university urban, UC urban, almost 2 years. So used to be my good assistant instructor come from all these universities because they regular educate study university. They karate club special. So means if I explain something, people easy understand. That's why teaching university club is supposed to be good for you. Yes.
Can I make a guess? Would I be wrong if I guessed that perhaps the person who was leading your club was a student, as opposed to Yamazaki Sensei, who's not going to have the problem with respect, or was it?
Well, maybe it was the person that led it, and I don't want to knock anybody, but I think it was just a person that was really wanting to, the Japanese person that wanted to Americanize and wanted more camaraderie or whatever. And the students, I'm not saying this is in all of my classes or that all the time in that situation, because this person had black belts, which they started from the beginning, and those people were extremely dedicated, but occasionally they asked me to do some things with them, and it was what I did was more than just kick, punch, and it required people to pay close attention, otherwise they would hurt someone. They were used to just blowing off whoever was giving them direction. And
not saying this was, and also this is my one experience in the club, but it just seemed like deja vu. I was sitting in a class, it's nothing for students to get up and walk in front of the teacher or slam a door or throw their book down or read a paper in class. It's the kind of thing that was happening in the dojo. I mean, in the classes.
This is not martial arts.
No, I'm saying this same thing was happening, this type of behavior that I saw.
You have a club, karate club, right?
Yeah, it was just one. I just joined it to have something to do at KU, but I thought I would get into a club here because I go to another dojo, on a regular basis. But I just said that type of behavior that I normally see in a regular classroom situation came into the dojo. These people behave the same way they do all the time. And
I have a non-traditional student back there who takes my theater course and my Aikido class and participate in a club occasionally, which is run by students. So I'll ask her to speak up to your point if she observes any differences.
I think that a lot of that has to do with the attitude when you come in, and the attitude of the person who's reading it, because I find that in the participation in the classes that I've been in, it's been expected of me that I follow the traditions and the things that are normally done. And I find that most of the students do, quite frankly, and I think it's a very good trend for them because just for that reason. You have students who in a classroom, and I've taught everything from junior high on up to college. I find that it's that kind of self-discipline that they are lacking, and it is precisely this type of training that is the type of thing that can give them that self-discipline because you must concentrate or you can get hurt. And I find that the organizations that I've been dealing with have the students, for the most part, I'm sure you have the occasional students that take anything seriously, but they won't stay around long either.
I was just wondering if that's the isolated case of that moment.
But we've had that over the years, and I didn't mean to say, one of the instances when we've had it more often than not, in my experience over the years here, has been when they're totally student-run clubs. It's extremely difficult for a student who is of the same age as the kind of people you're describing there, even though he or she may have been practicing for a long period of time. It's not real easy to establish a certain amount of authority. When Tsubaki Sensei comes in, there is a kind of automatic something. Yamazaki Sensei is there. There's an automatic thing. But if you're a student, even if you're a second degree or a third degree, it's not always easy. One requires a good deal of skill to get one's own peers to adopt the attitude that she's describing that we expect. And sometimes it has happened that people haven't been able to do that.
And yet I find that in groups that I've been in the classroom, the totally student-run and like something up in there, that attitude has helped. And I think that all comes into the original training. And I do find that the people who have the lack of self-discipline and the lack of respect will leave the gym. They will not stay with it because they don't have that kind of dedication.
Is that a bummer?
It wasn't my place to drive off the students, so I just tried to just sit there and deal with it.
That's something that's happened over the years that you should be pleased with. We have so many martial arts clubs coming along that one can normally find, or hopefully can find, something that is appropriate for him or her that they're looking for, and leave and not find it the only experience.
I would just like to comment that I teach upper level evolution course, and if my students in my evolution course behave as well as the students in my club, then my evolution course would go a lot smoother than it is by semester. So I think that, I would just like to reiterate that probably isolate.
Not to change the subject, but I'd like to ask you, Sensei, your philosophy of ki and how you train for ki in this style of art.
Okay. How develop ki is first we are body, develop body. Okay, develop body. I used to people call training gashiku. Gashiku means used to be in Japan University 10-day special camp. You can go home, stay same place, and then eating together, training together. And then course, everybody together take break. So we tired, support each other, harmony comes out. Okay? So how about the key is if you doesn't punch, doesn't kick, so means all body come weak, body like a dead body. So and then look, you still punch is brain is still sharp. The brain comes up. Then also what to do? Punch, kick. I say to new student, look distance, look distance. Also, even we call kia sharp, sharp. But still, if you actually the action is like a strong, but you feeling, your heart is calm down. Even action part, feeling is thinking calm down. So means you can see opponent, you can see developed key. For example, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to everybody. Okay? Somebody touch, somebody looking, somebody talk. That's my choice. If I develop my key, everybody. If I talk just you, notice other people, that people not to teach you. So, and my eyes looking at you, but I'm looking at everybody. So my key gives everybody. See? So means this is more future. But first step, punish your body. And then make you win. So a lot of karate was so tight. But power, key stop here. Key not come out. See? So means first step, dead body. How big is higher. So it is still good. So but mentally is coming sharp. So then you have to develop the key. Also, more basic people. I say, look at the punch, look at distance, and when you hit the like a stake, Aikido is very important. We are katana. Look at distance, look at distance, look at distance. Develop. That's it.
I think we probably kept him very much longer than he expected to be here. I'd like to thank you all for coming this afternoon on Friday. Please join me in thanking Yamazaki Sensei for sharing his views with us today.
Thank you.
I'd like to mention one thing. If you'd like to participate in a physical aspect, it's more of a seminar at 9 o'clock in room 15 Robinson. Sensei will be